Hi there, it's Jennifer Trask, and welcome to this video on 6 things you must prepare for a Facebook challenge launch. So if you ever do a Facebook challenge and then you want to launch a product or service after that, this is what you want to prepare for. Now, I just came off of a Facebook challenge launch called Manifest Your Awesomeness, and the launch did very well. We had a 5.6 conversion, which is pretty good. Average conversions are 3 to 5%. And here's what I did during this challenge. So I did the challenge itself. So there was a 5-day challenge. There was some bonus content. There was a webinar. There were Q&As. There was live coaching. We did early bird pricing and bonuses. We also did consistent engagement. I was consistently engaged at it within the Facebook group, and there were pretty much, I think, every post that somebody posted in the group, I commented on and acknowledged to some capacity. And of course, email marketing. So in order to make that happen, a lot of things had to happen. And I kind of think when you're in the middle of any launch, there's always these last minute things, but the more you can learn to be prepared for them, the better I think you can handle them. And launches, when done properly, are a lot of work. I mean, they're worth it, they're fun, especially if you're doing something you love. But the reality is they're a lot of work. And if you're doing them on top of regular marketing and you have clients and all this stuff, it does add that layer of extra time. And so that's why I wanted to give you 6 things that you should prepare for in advance, or at least as much as you can in advance before you actually ever get into the challenge. So the first thing that you want to prepare is the content. So if you know you're going to be doing a 5-day challenge, maybe that's 5 videos or 5 audios or whatever, you want to try to prepare as much content beforehand. So what I did was I had prepared most of it beforehand. There was a couple things that I kind of knew I wanted, but I didn't want to create that content until the challenge was underway because I wanted to have the real-time feedback, but the bulk of the content was made before the challenge actually started, and that was really good because remember, you don't just make it, then you got to host it, so whether it's on your website or a lead page or something like that, and then prepare the emails and things like that that go out with it. So that brings me actually to the second thing you need to prepare beforehand, which is the graphics. And the graphics are twofold. So the graphics are for whatever however you're going to market it. So if you're doing Facebook ads or posts on different social media channels and things like that, it needs a graphical image and face. As well, within the challenge, you need graphics. So for example, I did video, so all the videos needed a thumbnail, and if you have handouts, the handouts have to be created. So there's a bunch of graphics that you need to do beforehand as well. Okay, so you have your content first, then your graphics and marketing that you want to get prepared for. The third thing is the sales page. So the sales page is going to take a lot of time. Really great sales pages have formulas to them, and depending on how fancy you're going to get, if you're going to use a graphic designer or if you're going to use a VA or whatever, you're going to need time on the sales page from 2 perspectives, actually from more 3, I think, from writing the actual sales page to creating it graphically, like where is it sitting online, and is it you putting it up or is it someone helping you? And then third, you want time for feedback and last minute, sort of like people giving last minute changes and thoughts, and so that you're not scrambling at the last minute. As well, don't forget, part of that sales page process is the checkout pages and making sure your offers are there and that the buttons work and that the automation is there. So when someone signs up for something, they get their email, they get their receipt and all that jazz. And of course, some of that is just based on the platform that I use, Kajabi. I'll link to it underneath so you can access Kajabi if you want it. So that's an important piece, the sales page and the checkout process. You got to make sure that that's really ready. And so I would start that before the challenge starts. You might tweak it a bit while you're doing the challenge, because you might get some new language from the challenge as people are going through it. But you ideally want to start this beforehand. Email marketing is next. That's the fourth thing. So you're going to be sending out a lot of emails. You're going to be sending out the content emails, bonus emails, sales emails, maybe testimonials. There's a bunch of emails that you're going to want to send out. So you want to at least start your plan for them and the ideas that are going to go in them. And then you want to start writing some of them as sooner rather than later. Again, so that you're not, up until 3 a.m. every single night is ideal. I also recommend having a minimum of the first module in the course ready, because then there's no lag time. It's sort of like, because usually what happens is you're going to close a launch and then the next day the course begins. So you really want to have that prepared and ready so people can dive in first thing in the morning. Lastly, the thing that you want to prepare for is engagement time. So if you're going to be running a launch, you're going to be doing a lot more engaging online than you probably are doing from a day-to-day basis. So you really need to make sure you give yourself enough time and space that you're going to be up commenting and checking things and putting things in place and whatever. Time really matters. So depending on your schedule, maybe during your launch you have less meetings, or you just put a certain project on hold or whatever, so that you can give your attention to what's going on in your launch. And I think that's really important, because the more highly engaged you are and the more you show up and the more value you add during your launch, the better the launch is going to do in terms of conversion and bringing people on board to whatever it is you have to offer to help them with. So that's it. Those are the 6 areas that you want to prep for. I also want to invite you, I'm going to be doing a more in-depth training in the very, very short near future on preparing for your launches and how to do them. So if you want to be notified as soon as that comes up, go to the blog. If you're watching this anywhere other than the blog, go to the blog and sign up on the forum below, and I will notify you as soon as that is ready. So that's it. I would love to hear from you if you have any comments, or like have you had a launch and you wished you had done this before, or maybe you were like, I did it and it was rocking. Put it in the comments below on the blog. I would love to hear from you, and happy launching.